For today's call, as you guys can see here, I'm just gonna every Wednesday now, I'm just gonna be taking a little bit of a step back and then bringing in a guest coach. You guys all know who Dennis is. Five off, like I'll give you guys the lowdown stats. Five offers, did it in 4 months, averaging about 25 to 30 interviews a week. I threw up a challenge. He was the only guy that actually accepted my invitation to apply in my home in New York. He has tasted my bolognese, cooked for him and everything. We were literally we were live streaming it too, Dennis. Like we're like, yo, come on over. I had to kill that rooftop was fit to film Succession in, right? Um, Brand new building, basketball court. I was like telling people, come shoot some hoops with me and Dennis. We're just out here applying. And that was basically it. So like and I really want like to go out there and throw this out there. Dennis is the LinkedIn outreach king. When like, here's the thing, like we just made some deduction as like from like a product management standpoint. Like, yeah, a lot of people are applying. You see the roles out on LinkedIn. It's like about like you get 400 applicants within like 35 minutes, right? Or on LinkedIn Easy Apply. Clearly, we're not getting through. He's the one that started sending out some LinkedIn messages that are on. Actually, Dennis, I really want you to cover this question. He's the one that originated this strategy of sending out LinkedIn messages directly to hiring managers. And he's the one that was booking interviews with them, apply to
Yeah.
like I think 100, 200 jobs a day. And here's the craziest thing is that he didn't want me to share the LinkedIn messages that he sent. But I think what was the more crazy thing for me is a lot of people, even seeing that message, never sent them. And I think it's largely because people are too scared, like, well, I don't have this experience, like, just go for it. But like I think if you can work on some of the mindset piece of like what kind of like the mental hurdles that you had to like overcome and like I think what I would like to see for this call from you, well, obviously I was physically there with you in combat, like, we were ordering like Chick-fil-A and everything. But okay, like how did you prioritize I'll type it into the chat. How did you kind of prioritize? Dennis is probably one of the most disciplined and organized guys that I've seen. So how did you organize your schedule? Like what was like a typical day for applying? I think something else that I really want to know is you also made a lot of time to do case studies. To do case studies. So how did you make that time? Because a lot of times I call you and you're doing case studies too. So how did you like time management on case studies? I think the next thing that like I really want to get like some feedback with you on is like kind of like what was your mentality shift? Because you and Susan kind of had this like process where it's like I'm going to be a little bit more selective, and then like I kind of had to like go back to that like 2018 mindset of like going everything everywhere all at once. A lot of product managers are like, well, I don't want to work there. Like, I don't want to work here. Like, it's like, yeah, that's not going to work out. But how did you actually break through it? And I would encourage everybody here, uh, what you call it, Sharam, just go ahead and buy it because when you buy it, you'll use it. And I just uploaded a fresh batch because somebody else helped me put that thing together and their time's not free. But most importantly, like send it. I think so many people have like all this information and stuff.
I know. I'm going crazy trying to find the damn link. I've been going back and forth
Don't worry
searching
about it.
for it.
I'm about to send it to you right now. But I'm gonna send it to you right now, Sharam. Don't worry about that. But
When you can, when you
yeah.
can. Not
What?
an issue.
Make everybody make really good use of Dennis's time here because he's done this job hunt with me 3 times. This past time was the most difficult. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Lee, take it away. I'll be in the background, Dennis.
All right, I guess we'll start with like how did you organize your schedule? That's probably the most important part of the search because you could, I mean, look, there is so many things you have to do to keep this going. One, you're applying. Two, you're adjusting your resume, maybe according to feedback or according to your own feedback. Three, you're reviewing your interviews, you're booking interviews, you're doing it's a lot of work. And I can't even talk. It's a full-time job, right? And the mistake I've seen other people make is just not planning or preparing anything. So what they do is they'll have an interview in a few days. They don't really do any prep for it, or maybe they'll do a little bit of prep for it. But and then they'll actually end up dropping the applications for other jobs. So they kind of shift all their eggs in one basket, and then when you do that, you kind of are desperate, right? So when you're desperate, well, at least for me, and I've seen it with others, you tend to be a little more nervous because you only have a few shots compared to more shots. Um, so what I did was try to understand, okay, well, what are all the things that I have to get done first? So it's like applications. I'd schedule a certain amount of time for applications. So it might be an hour in the morning, an hour at night, or both, and try to hit a number. So 30 on the very low end. I'd love to hit 50 plus, but that's hard sometimes. But I'd have scheduled applications. I'd also have interviews, obviously scheduled throughout the day, especially doing I think my highest day was 7 to 8, which it's a lot of context switching. I don't recommend doing that, but it does prove that you could somehow get over the line, even with all different roles and jobs kind of coming your way. And then, of course, you have to the core is applications, do your interviews and do your research before your research and preparation for your calls. That's probably one of the most important things. Like you have to ask the right questions. So I'm like doing some research. I'm trying to figure out what would be a unique question to ask. Like I don't want to just come off as what is your biggest challenge? Yeah, that's a great question, but I like to go a bit deeper and actually show or talk about something with subject matter expertise. And I think those three combined, plus the additional LinkedIn outreach, kind of was the reason and why I got through to the other side. So, again, just to summarize, it was 1 to 2 hours a day of applications broken up like morning or afternoon and night, LinkedIn outreach. So, at night, after I'd apply, I'd handpick like 5 to 6 different roles, find the hiring manager, find the recruiter, and just send a message their way. And then obviously applications and your interviews and your interview prep. Any questions on that? And this is all like using Google Calendar and actually breaking out each of those days. So like 9 to 10 a.m. applications, uh, interview schedule throughout, interview prep. I do 15 minutes interview prep if it's around one, actually 5 to 15 is around one, up to 30 if it's around 2 or 3 plus. That's it. I don't give them any more of my time. So definitely want to hear any questions with that. I mean, I do 25 plus interviews a week. That's crazy. So I kind of wanted to reiterate that because I wouldn't have been able to do it if I wasn't organized. All my applications and follow-ups are tracked in Airtable, actually. It can be done with a Google spreadsheet. Um, so applications, I didn't track the actual company. I just tracked the numbers per day to keep me motivated. And the follow-ups were, I would just have a separate sheet and just kind of write down all of the ones to follow up with. So if I said, all right, I'm going to do 5 follow-ups today, I would hand pick throughout whenever I applied, say, all right, that looks good enough to follow up with, and just that was it. And then I'd have like a status that said like need to follow up and then change it once I actually followed up. So making sure you actually stay on top of it is really important. How did you decide what to include in LinkedIn? So this is tricky because if you're not a premium member, you get 200 characters for your message. If you're premium, you get 300 characters. It's very hard to get your life story out in 300 characters, and that's not the goal, right? The goal is to catch their attention. So there would be what I would do for LinkedIn requests is I would really target roles that I knew like were in my domain. So I'm targeting fintech, e-commerce, and real estate slash prop tech. And then I would just I'd really try to relate like what are like if I'm trying to sell myself, it's like an elevator pitch, right? If you're trying to get funding for a company, you're not talking about oh yeah, so like we started this 5 years ago. No, get to the bottom of it. Why? What does it matter? Why would I put my money in you? It's the same thing. Why should they give you 200, 300 grand? Oh, I built a startup of my own. I made, I turned it into 250K a year. I got 100,000 users. That is interesting to them. Or yeah, I've actually went through Fortune 500, built 0 to 1 for Fortune 500, then pivoted to startups, and now I'm back in here. Yeah, great. It shows flexibility. Yeah. So I really tried to, with the LinkedIn message, try to pick something that is super relatable. I got Uber, Nike, Lyft. There's so many more. Those are just the big names that I remember. DoorDash, Coursera, just by sending the LinkedIn messages. Um, what? Oh, actually, and yeah, I think 30, I have to go look at my stats, like 20-ish% of my interviews came from LinkedIn. Me doing LinkedIn outreach. But what salary range did I enter? Did this affect the callback rate? I really depended if it was PM role or senior PM role or lead PM role. I tried to kind of hit it in the middle lower. So for salary, if they have something posted, put it in the middle. If they don't have something posted, just kind of get the average for your area and put the average. That's it. I don't ever do too high and I don't ever do too low because you don't want to hire someone too cheap or blow your budget on someone. And did this affect the callback rate? Not that I know of. But I know that sometimes when I entered salary, they talk on the phone and be like, "Hey, so that's like, a little over our range." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I could work with what you're offering, just to get the interview." Were you targeting any specific industry, work experience, pivoting and learning apart from applications? Um, Yeah, I mostly targeted fintech and e-commerce because that's what I've had the most experience in. And I've had experience in like pre-seed startups, Fortune 500, Series C, Series D. So it's kind of been all over the place. Um, what was my work experience? How much pivoting? So when I first started with Rich, I didn't really have the best experience. I had to try to relate like business operations to product. So that's how I broke into product. And then after that, it was kind of like PM to PM to PM. So it was pretty applicable, but I did try to stick with industry. And learning, I mean, I don't worry about that stuff. I just go for it. 20% LinkedIn, 80% apply. No, I had 20% LinkedIn. I had 30% inbound, which was kind of interesting. I did optimize my summary and my entire LinkedIn. And then I think the rest was maybe 45% application and maybe 5% referral. And the referrals went nowhere, just got to put that out there. What is the process for finding, say I work in a similar domain? I didn't have a process for searching for these. LinkedIn actually does a really good job of showing you what you might be qualified for. So for me, I had all the fintech popping up in my feed as like best match. So if you have that in your LinkedIn, like with real estate, for example, you should get targeted, or you can even type in like product manager, real estate, or prop tech. But again, on these searches, it's hard. Um, and obviously going industry specific means less opportunity. So I just hit them all. Did I use any other sites besides LinkedIn? Honestly, I don't remember. I think I tried a few. I just ultimately didn't want to. I didn't find that they were high quality, and LinkedIn had the most amount of jobs, and the I was able to apply to those quicker than anyone else because I would always like have it sorted by recent. And Rich, that kind of brings me to something. Remember how we mentioned like being the first to apply does have benefits? Um, Actually thinking we might have something here for everyone. I'm thinking of writing a script that will scrape like all LinkedIn brand new and have them auto apply. Could probably do that. Like all the new roles, which you've already basically done, and have them
I
auto
mean,
apply.
we have somebody that's doing it manually. I mean, if you could write a script for it, that would be, I think, the money making opportunity for us here, Pat.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing some other things, so I'm like, I might as well do that. So more to come on that. But it's like you can tell them how important it is to apply to those brand new roles. Like you don't want a role that's been out for 3 months. There's something else. They're just collecting resumes at that point. Um, Best advice for staying motivated after a series of rejections: ignore them. Who cares? That's their loss. That's it. Move on. Tell them to go fuck themselves and move on. I don't care. You have to be strong. And that's it. Like, oh, I'll reject you. I'm like, oh, go fuck yourselves. You can afford me anyway. Yeah, no, you have to have the mentality. It's not easy, but you have to have that mentality. Rich, where would the other questions go? I don't even see. Oh,
They're
chat.
on the chat. They're on the chat.
Oh, there we go. Typical day for applying. I'm pretty sure I went over that. Case studies, time management. Yeah, kind of built into everything else I said about preparing. Case studies are kind of a big part of this. I would practice case studies with people here. So we dedicate like 30 minutes, 60 minutes, like once or twice a week, if not more, to run through case studies with each other and record them, play them back, give feedback. And that has helped me and others get better to the point where we're like multiple offers in at that point. And you could also practice with AI, but I mean, I think AI is great for structuring cases, not necessarily answering them. And then the mentality shift, kind of what I just covered. Yeah, I was like, I'm not going to let people from all the big brands, all the big schools beat me, and that's my winning strategy. Because I don't have a brand. I don't. Oh, now I do, but I don't. I don't. I never went to. I mean, I got my degree while working in product. I didn't have degrees at the time, so that's kind of the game I play. I play the underdog game, and I just know I can outwork everyone. And not just that, but I know how to like optimize my time to not just outwork everyone, but actually get more ROI than any of them could dream of. So yeah, and this is not how I normally am, but when it comes to this, I am ruthless. I do not let any of these recruiters try to get me down, let me down. I don't give a fuck about them, honestly. Like people are saying, "Oh my God, I'm so, I don't know if they're gonna call me back." Fuck them. Move on. You gotta move on. Seriously. That's the key here. But I can't tell you how many times where people say, "Do you think they're going to call me back?" Like, what if they don't call me back? What's the time frame? Just move on. If you have 35 opportunities in front of you, you don't care, and you're going to naturally do better because you don't care. Like, oh, but this is my dream company. No, they're not dreams when you get into them. I can tell you that for a fact. Um, I just hear it over and over and over again, and all these questions and worry. You just got to put that aside and just go for it. That's it. There's no secret. The secret is volume equals you multiplying your opportunities and practicing, and ultimately you're going to interview better than people that worked at Meta and Google. Simple as that. Um, am I still applying to jobs? No, not no. I'm not right now. Was there any time left for courses? Um, no, didn't need courses. I just went, look, I just had to get good at the job hunt. So if I needed to learn anything else on the job, then I would just shift my time to get the job. Once I had the job to take whatever I need to take to level up. Would you say building a case study at my current job could help? It's beyond my function. I guess it depends on the domain. I mean, it's really easy to just go on and find any normal case study that any companies give. So it could be company related because you have that domain expertise, or it could be something completely random online. And then how do you handle interview questions where you don't know the answers to? What leading questions would you ask to buy time to think? So I guess it depends. Like if someone said, there's really no way to, I don't know. I'm not really stuck in a situation where I don't know the answer. Um, Sometimes it's like, you know, trying to think of one that maybe stumped me up at one point. It's like, I don't know, like sometimes they just ask like questions like, how do you work with engineers? It's a pretty broad question because engineering, that could mean so many different things to so many different people. And it doesn't mean like, what does it mean? Is it soft skills? Like, what are we talking about here? Is it actually jumping in and, helping them with a tech roadmap? Is it helping, like, what is it? And I would just start asking those questions. Oh, that's, engineers, like, it's a very broad question. What exactly are you looking for? Like, are you looking for how I like interact on a team level with engineers? Like, what exactly are you getting at? And then I buy like 30 seconds that way. So ask a question to their question. It has not failed me yet. What did you learn about the org/opportunity that wasn't in the job description? Um, Not sure to answer that, but I could say how. I'm learning about the org and opportunity that wasn't in the job description through the recruiter. I know most people think of the recruiter as a gatekeeper. That's far from the truth. They actually have a pretty big say in this whole process. If you come off like a dick or you're not interested, yeah, they're gonna pass on you. You can have the top resume, they're still gonna pass on you. So I like to get my information from them, and it just shows like genuine interest. And each round you get more information. So you get more information from the recruiter on the hiring manager, get more information on the hiring team, the role. That's pretty natural. How many product sense interviews did I go through? Probably like 10, I would say, maybe more. Are hiring managers looking for longevity? How nervous are they with policy uncertainty? I mean, I guess so. From what I've experienced, they're just looking to fill the role. I think they do want to keep people in because they don't want to rehire again. It makes them look bad. And they definitely have some metrics around like time to fill. Um, I don't know if they're nervous. I'm not sure how to answer that last part. I contact anyone I can get in contact with. Do I contact recruiters or product people, LinkedIn, or both? Anyone I can get in contact with. I had it. I was like, I think I applied for a role at Nike and no one responded to me. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna get them to respond. So I sent over 20 messages and I finally got someone to respond and interview me. And yeah, it's really important, like the mentality shift, like you kind of have to have the attitude. This is not my normal thing, by the way. But when it comes to the job search, like it's like these other people that are competing with us are like taking my money and my food away, and I don't play that game. So that's when I get into all defensive mode. You can't come across like this in the interview, but you have to have the mentality to handle the rejections and everything. I hope that makes sense. How should you answer questions like why should we hire you or what are your strengths and weaknesses? Plan them beforehand. Just plan to answer those beforehand. Um, Strengths and weaknesses, I try to spin it into like a positive always, but I don't lie about it. Just yeah, I don't have much on that question because I think it's I don't love that question. Um, and then for the why should we hire you? I don't really get asked that honestly. And I mean, if you think about it, you are selling yourself to them. So however you have been pitching yourself, that's I would continue with that. I don't think there's anything special, but I really don't like that strengths and weaknesses question. But I would prepare for it just in case, like well in advance. Use AI to figure it out. Have I given a bad interview? I mean, a lot of times there's just it's gonna happen. And what I did was I recorded every one of my interviews and listened to every single one of them back. Took notes, got my own self feedback. Also had people from here listen to the interviews and get more feedback. Yeah, you have to get better interviews to get the good ones. I think my first five or so, 5 to 10, this round alone were bad. Like that, that's it just happens. But I will say all the bad interviews were great because it got me to the best job ever. what are the red flags on the company if you don't want to waste time for them? So I wouldn't think of it like that, honestly. I would just, I mean, it's kind of easy to spot red flags if they're like some people are maybe quick to hire, or you can kind of tell that they're maybe avoiding questions about like, oh, how do we build product here? Um, if you kind of get the sense it's a feature factory or not a real product org, that's a red flag. But for the second part, I don't consider it a waste of time. Like every interview is a step to an offer. So even if it's like if I perceive them to be a shitty company, I'm still taking the interview, even if it's painful. And I think that's how you get, that's like the mentality shift. Like you kind of have to humble yourself. Also, everyone can ask questions. Like you don't have to type everything. Uh, do you wait to get a few small interviews under your belt before ramping up for the big ones? It depends. Like if I had a target company, I try not to have a target company, but if I did, yeah, I'm gonna do interviews at places I'm not interested in first, definitely. But you don't want to build it up to the point where you're like putting them on a pedestal or getting nervous. It's very smart. Yeah, do 5 interviews at other companies, and then yeah, if you get the other interviews at the bigger company, yeah, that's going to help you. But don't put them on a pedestal, or you'll be nervous. How have expectations changed since my first round of PG? Um, I think it's a little, I don't want to say easier. I think it's great because I actually have done the PM role. I think that's just been a kind of something that's been easier when going into interviews, but it didn't stop me on the first time. So I don't think it's a game. I don't think it's a blocker. But I would say nothing. No expectations changed. Like it's a hard market, and that's that. You have to humble yourself. It doesn't matter where I worked, what I did. Uh, Someone else could take the offer and have less qualifications, and it's just a numbers game. Anyone gonna ask a question on voice?
Yeah, I'll go. What type of jobs did you target? Was it like, did you just search for 0 to 1 or pretty much anything you could find?
Honestly, anything. Just to get like all the practice out again. Even if I knew that it wasn't like what I was interested in, I just did it anyway. And it's tough to do that because you do have to fake interest.
That's a wide net. It
Yeah,
could be any industry basically.
could be any industry. Yeah, but I did like when I saw like my like specific industry, like of course I would like sit down and target all my fintechs. Like that's just naturally easier for me. But it didn't stop me from expanding as well. Because again, it's just more opportunities, more interview practice. And when I do get to that, those final offers, like I'm going to one be able to compete them against each other, which I did, um, and have more to choose from. Yeah, 5 offers, last one. So yeah. Oh,
So
sorry.
it's
Go ahead.
really, so it's really clear that you have a really strong mindset, and I'm very curious on like how long does it take you to achieve that mindset, or if you were already coming to PG with that kind of mindset, and where did you acquire this mindset?
No, didn't come with the mindset at first. I mean, Rich could vouch for me. Um, I think at one point I was like, Rich, I don't think I could be a PM. And he's like, he's like, shut the fuck up and keep interviewing. And then I just kept going for it. And then he kind of just drilled it into me like don't let all those other people take your job. And I think that just got me going. And then realizing that I was always going to be at a disadvantage because I don't have that. I didn't at the time, like round one, I didn't have, or round one of Product Gym, didn't have basically any resume, so to speak. Didn't have Didn't have a degree, so I was yeah, I was starting from scratch and I was just going into full battle mode. And I knew that I could just outwork everyone else. And that's where it came from. And I was like, I not only can I, but I have to do it. And it would just make me, it would make me mad inside to know like some, now I can't say it, but someone that had the easy way out in life was just taking a job for me. That I can't live with that. Like, maybe they had connections, maybe they had money, they were able to go to prestigious university, and oh, they just walk into the perfect product role. Amazon used to hire MBAs right out of fucking shit, right out of business school. And guess what? They ended up stopping it because they were not qualified. And that really got me like, I'm not gonna let someone take this from me.
Dennis,
And
that's very helpful actually.
it's hard. Like you have to build up to it, but I've maintained it ever since. Like just because I have the role now and had the role, I don't think like I'm better than I know that it's still a fight for me. Um, and that
The
I keep going with that.
So, in PG, we are recommended to add metrics in the resume. And sometimes in the corporate work, in adjacent roles, you don't really have direct influence on the metrics. And it kind of like really is my, weak point with my resume. It's not that I can't get the metrics, it's just kind of like I don't have a direct influence on them, right? So how do I tailor that? I think that has been my problem with moving forward. Like, do the interviewers get really focused on that, or is there a possibility to shift the conversation during an interview and show that you have the grit to do it?
Yeah, for metrics, look, you're just gonna have to own it. Like if you had a piece in it, I mean, you're technically a part owner in it, right? Like not one person. If we say, let's just think of the most simple example. If we say launched A/B test of our landing page and increased conversion by 20%, sure, I can say that, but look how many other people could put that in their resume. The engineer could put that in their resume, designer, business analyst, QA. So it's really not just a one person thing. So if I did something to further the metric, I'm going to claim it. Um, are there times I claimed it when I shouldn't? Yeah, sure. And I just own it. And just be prepared to go into depth. Like, yeah, so how'd you come up with that metric? This I came with the metric. How'd you know it was the right metric? Then you just prepare for it. And then you basically make yourself indefensible. Like they can't, like it so well, whether it's, maybe there's a few things that aren't 100%, but you just have to believe it. And that's what I did in round one. I just believed everything and said it 20,000 times until I was like actually believing it was all, you know, true. And I'm not ashamed. So that's what I would say.
That's awesome.
Of course.
So I guess I had a question related to that. So let's say the interviewer asked you about how a particular product feature affected revenue, but you didn't have access to the revenue numbers. How would you navigate that question?
Take your best guess. That's all I could do. Like I wouldn't want to come across like I didn't think about revenue because it's hard to um I would say most PM roles will have an influence on revenue. Like if I have an interest on increasing users, that's well hopefully going to increase revenue along the way. So I would just try to understand like, okay, if I did this metric, like what does it actually look like in terms of dollars? And I will throw in my best guess because it's true. It's not always something everyone has access to.
Yeah.
And just like I know if someone's like, oh, I don't want to sugarcoat anything, everyone else is doing it. And you gotta stay competitive. And I mean, how are they able to verify it? They can't.
question regarding LinkedIn outreach. When you don't get responses, especially with the LinkedIn Connect, because you only have one chat with that, do you then move on to an email and then use that as a follow-up? What was your strategy for those?
Honestly, no, it doesn't. I just move on. If I'm really, into the company, I move on to the next person in the company, whether it's PM, head of product, director, whatever it is. And then I'll say like, all right, 5 people and I'm done. If they don't respond to me, that's okay. And maybe I need to take a look at my message. Like, was my message strong enough? Did I sell myself enough in 300 characters to get a response? And I've seen some people say, I've actually gotten messages like, I mean, I don't really read them, but messages like, hey, I have 10 years of experience and I really want to get into Venmo. Like, will you refer me? I'm like, I don't have time for that. And if the message is more personal, or the message is more thoughtful, or like it would have been so much different, if that makes sense. Whereas it's like you put almost no effort in at all. So I would take a step back and be like, if I'm on the other end of it, does this get my attention? Like, is this an elevator pitch? And I would be like, yeah, that sounds, I can't pass it up. And also run it through AI. Hey, I'm a senior product manager looking to get a role here. My strategy is to do a bunch of LinkedIn outreach. I know that this person receives 300 plus messages per month, say, and I need to craft a 300 character thing to stand out. Here's the things I've done in the past. Here's how it relates to this role. How do I put together this 300 character elevator pitch that makes it impossible for them to ignore? And that's how I'm
Got it.
thinking about it. I didn't use AI, but it would help.
Got it. Thanks for that tip. Thank you.
Of course. And it takes a lot of refinement too. Like even the resume takes a lot of refinement. I probably had like 15 versions in the 4 month, 15 plus versions in the 4 month span to get an offer or more. Rich, what do you think one thing is that everyone should be asking right now? I know we've been through this a million times.
I guess for like all the people that are coconut water. I guess for like all the people that are here right now, like, what do you feel if we were talking about being intentional? What do we feel is like the biggest blocker that's stopping you from getting this job? Like, if Dennis here was, the genie in a bottle from when we watch Aladdin as children. And he says, I can grant you 3 wishes, right? Like, what would you say are the top 3 things that's blocking you, pissing you off the most, keeping you the most stuck, that is most annoying you, market, mental, otherwise, that's like keeping you on these calls and not getting you on as a guest coach here, as a testimonial? I think like
if I may, one thing
100%.
definitely, yeah, I would start with CV. It's just like I don't feel like I just don't have that confidence in my CV. Does everything make sense that I have there? And then 15 CV versions throughout like 4 months time is impressive. It's just like, how do I know if I'm updating it the right way or not? How do I get that feedback? It's not like I can talk to recruiters, right? Can you just tell me if there's anything wrong, right? So that's number one blocker for me from starting kind of mass applying just like crazy.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't know how it is until you put it out there. Like if I'm putting 100 out, 200 out, I'm getting no responses, then I know, okay, there's something that's not right here. So then I would put it to people here. I would put it into AI and try to say like, what is the possible reason that no one's responding to me? And that will be like all those different inputs should help you get enough feedback to be like, all right, I'm going to try to do it this way. And what I did was I rewrote every bullet point, bullet by bullet. I spent so much time refining it, making sure it was readable, succinct, full of metrics, and making sure the whole thing read like a real PM. Because when I went back to the older resume, I was like, oh shit, this doesn't sound good at all. So I think it really just took trying to look at it with another lens. Like, does this really make sense to me? So that I would get feedback first, and then when you get on the recruiter calls, the thing that Rich always said is like, what's one thing that really stood out about my resume, and then that could give you some insight into, okay, this is something I'm doing good. So I mean, it's yes, can you really track the metric? No, it's hard, but you can kind of see like, when you use a certain resume, like for me, I made targeted resumes for different industries. That helped me get a lot of responses as well. So if I was looking for fintech, so all my fintech bullet points are going to the top. They're all going to have the keywords that only people in fintech will know. They're going to have all the fintech metrics and all the titles as well. So that was something that really helped me.
Okay, so you'd have different bullet points, but it's not like you would have different kind of titles in your CV.
It depends. Because I mean so for example, one of my roles was just PM, but I also put the team I was on. So I put like for fintech, product manager, loyalty and financing, or product manager, Wayfair credit cards. So I would change it. I mean, it's not fake. It's just changing it to like show what I was actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's, if you were like for e-commerce, like product manager e-commerce, product manager cart and checkout, that's great. I would do that.
Gotcha.
And it's just
Thank you.
it's just an evolution. It's not like you can't really be scared on day one to throw it out there. And what I would do is, if you don't get all those responses, the next round, like let's say you applied 200 times, you're like, oh well, I just burned 200 resumes. It's not true. Put a dot in the middle of your email address. Now you have a brand new email address and you're in the system as a brand new person. I can prove that this worked because I would reapply after like 2 or so weeks. And then some of them were rejections to interviews. I was like, I didn't change anything. So that goes to show you, like, it's never over. And they have so much volume, they don't fucking remember.
So it's
Cover
not like
letter.
they're gonna look at the database and tell, oh, look, this guy, he applied like 5 times already. We know him.
You know
Well,
how
I
many
applied to every
people
job.
like, yeah, you know how many people like walked into like a New York City Police Department and just like leave with like the evidence, like like that shit happens like on a week. Like people don't care that much about their job.
Rich, did you say, you said someone applied to like every role at Tesla, right? And they got an interview?
Yeah, somebody applied to all 67 roles at Tesla. They got 66 rejections and they got one interview from the 67 position that they applied to.
Wow, that's impressive. Just random, like any kind of positions, not just like product manager jobs.
Yeah, like all 67 product manager positions. And
Oh, okay.
he did get like a red receipt from Elon. He tried
Crazy.
following up, but I don't think Elon didn't call him back. You
But
know.
it does. I did that I think I hit like 20 Capital One roles, and then they finally got to me. And yeah, cover letters, no, I will not waste my time on that. Fuck that.
Follow up on the new email. Were you changing your resume when you did the new email, or you kept the email the same? No, not email. You kept the resume the same, just changed the email.
Yeah, now that I realize it, probably should have changed the email in the resume, because if they parse it, but I didn't, and it still worked.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But yeah, to be safe, if you put a dot, I'd probably put the dot in the resume as well. But that's my little hack that has worked perfectly. Like if you had like your email address at gmail.com, you can basically if you put a dot in between each you can put a dot in between each letter and it still goes to your actual email address. So that's how I get a new email address each time. Or if you had a Gmail, you can do like if it was like denniswhipple@gmail.com, you do Dennis Whipple plus slack@gmail.com, brand new email address. Anytime you do like a plus something, it's a new email address. So you can be
Would you
like,
say,
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go.
I would say you can even do it by versions, like Dennis Ripple plus V1, Dennis Ripple plus V2, and then you could kind of track it like that.
You said LinkedIn is really important. I'm not really so much active on it because I still don't have quite a junior position in the product yet. You know, I'm a product research analyst, and I mean, I got into it, while I got the PG, got into PG and stuff, like moved from marketing automation to this job. So at least a product analyst in my resume, but I wasn't quite confident about LinkedIn, even though I followed all the recommendations from PG. So I just don't feel like I want to put LinkedIn on there, even though I have recommendations and everything. I don't know how much it makes a difference.
You mean using LinkedIn or putting it on LinkedIn?
Putting LinkedIn on the resume or sharing my LinkedIn. Sometimes they require it, seems like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's almost like it would be a red flag to me if someone didn't have it.
Got it. Mm-hmm.
But I would just make sure my LinkedIn is up to date. Like, make sure it's up to date, put product manager, or whatever it is, analyst manager, it's the same thing, honestly, who cares? Just put it. And the reason I say this is it's so competitive out there.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
And
Thank you.
everyone else is doing the same thing anyway. Not saying to lie, I'm just saying, do put what you actually deserve. Put what you really deserve.
Okay, I like
I'm
that.
a bit
Put what you deserve.
That's it. It's like if I'm doing the role, fuck it, I'm putting it. Just because they didn't tell me I am one doesn't mean shit. And that's the attitude, that's the mentality. That's how we get through this. Like, who are you? You tell me I'm a product analyst. Fuck you, I'm product manager. That's it. Done. And yes, if anyone asks, oh, what about the background check? I cleared a million background checks, no issue. And I was in the same position, so no issue. Huh.
Another
What am I? Hmm?
Did you deal with any mental burnout during the process each time you had to go back in the job market? And how did you overcome that? What were your
Fantastic question.
That's a really good.
Fantastic question. Now we're getting somewhere.
Rich, do you want to take that? Do you want to take that? Because I mean, it's
No, no,
pretty.
no, no, no. You I'm just telling you, I'm just telling you to like where to go, run harder, and when to like duck and block. I mean, you're the one taking the punishment, you know.
Honestly,
So-
the only answer after that is I always would see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I would say, starting on day one, I could sit here and cry about it and be annoyed that I have to apply to 50 plus roles a day, or I could just do it because other people are crying like, I have been unemployed for a year. You applied to one fucking job a week. Come on. Like that's what really set me up. That's how I did it. Like, yes, is it burned out? Yes. Do I have to sometimes take a day off? Absolutely. And I recommend that. Like, I only applied Monday through Thursdays because I really needed like a small break, honestly. Like Fridays were more rest and some interviews and prepare, but I didn't apply on Fridays, and I didn't want the inboxes to get crowded anyway. So I can't confirm if it's true or not, but that's just something I needed a little bit of a break, so I definitely recommend it.
and when you ramped up to post 30 jobs per day, what was your process? Because sometimes during the job app process, you get in that flow state and then you start getting the questions in the resume in the applications. And I know sometimes like which is I just skip that, batch them, but other times it's just like they're asking this dang old questions of like I'm just trying to get my numbers in. What was your any tips for that?
Yeah, I created a doc to have like an app, like a bank of questions. So if someone's like, oh, when did you build 0 to 1? Copy and paste, maybe slightly tweak it, done. Or throw it at AI. Hey, here's my response for this company. Here's the role. Make me a response like based on this. That's it. So it's basically like every time I'm kind of just rinsing and reusing everything that I built up. So I would say 10 to 15 questions, bite the bullet, and just it sucks, but craft like a really good custom answer.
Okay.
They don't recommend it, but for those questions, you can reuse those. So like we don't want you to spend 20 minutes on an application, but you're spending 20 minutes now to spend 1 minute later. And then applying a scale is just all about having those Chrome extensions to autofill most of these things because I don't have time for that. And I will literally say I never looked at job descriptions unless there were like those questions. I didn't even when I got interviews, I'm like, oh, I haven't even heard of that company before. That was my mentality going into this.
Okay.
Like, I literally put them such at a low pedestal. I did not care. That's where we need to be. Because when I'm looking like, oh, we want to interview, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like that gives you a lot of power. That gives you the power, not them.
I think my problem is I'm still caring a lot at this stage. I need to get to the level you were.
I know.
Yes.
It's not going to be instant, but you just have to start getting to the level like, hey, like I'm actually good. You have to somehow have that like attitude, which again, I don't have it in real life just for this. Um, and then you will work up to it and you're gonna be like, you know what? They need me more than I need them. And that is where that's where it actually all pans out. And then the offers just start pouring in. Like for me, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the offers went from, I mean, I doubled one of the offers. Actually more than doubled. That's crazy. And then you get like more confident. Once the offer comes in, you're like you're unstoppable. Right. And it's a hard market. Like to have that many offers, like all I didn't do anything special. I'm not, like I said, don't have a degree, nothing special, but all I did was this mentality thing. That's it.
So that's it.
No problem. And yeah, the thing I've seen people here in the past the most. By the way, the last time I was here, everyone that was in here has jobs now, so that's kind of cool. But the issue I've seen is how do you put it in like a nice way? There were just so many questions about things that didn't matter. Like, but what if they're asking me questions about what the hell is it called? Like the background check. Like you should not be thinking about background check right now. What if I can't do the role? You should not be thinking about that right now. We are trying to get the job. We don't care if we can do the role. We'll figure it out. And that's where I tried to get everyone to. Like you're thinking too much ahead, you're thinking way too much. Get rid of the anxiety, take a Klonopin, take a Xanax, and drink and just do this. Like that's what you gotta do. Yes, I definitely no. And I don't do it, but if anyone needs to calm down, take a bunch of Xanax and then start applying. And Rich, my voice is shot. I don't think I can go anymore.
Yeah. Any other we're 2 minutes over. Any other questions for anybody else? Any other questions?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, so
Okay.
on the LinkedIn application, sometimes it'll say like, oh, 2 out of 10 skills match. Like, does that
Oh,
make you revise the
ignore,
resume or
ignore that. I don't pay attention to that shit. Apply, apply, apply. Don't look, apply. Don't read the thing, just apply. That's how I win. I
so when
don't
do
care.
you what's your threshold to go, okay, now I need to make a new revision of my resume?
That would be like the interview rate. Like if I'm doing 200 and I'm getting like 1 to 2 interviews, there's some there's yeah, that's to me. My threshold would be like you need like at least like a 1.5 to 2% rate in this market.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Going 3 times. Let me see here. Anything, people? This isn't your time to get it from the legend.
I'm not a legend.
Well, freaking cleaning lady just came in here. I was like, shh. uh, um, what was I gonna
Thanks.
say? Any other questions, people, for Dennis? At least can we get everybody just like a thank you for Dennis's time? He was
Thank
answering
you,
questions like
Dennis.
actually nonstop for y'all.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Dennis.
Really, it was really helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's not a problem. I hope it's like helpful.
Very.
And you just got, I know it's hard. You gotta just have that, the mind shift set. Gotta have the mind shift set. That's gonna be it.
Second here. Plexi, you can go out there and hop. You're already overtime. So okay, like I think like she did not wait long. Oh man. She
Yeah, you really do.
uh,
That
she-
attitude, that I don't give a fuck attitude is really important. And it's hard to get there. Like, again, it's not me, but fuck that. I'm not letting these other jerk offs get my fucking position. Seriously, that's that. And Rich probably already told you how all my offers, how much they were. So yeah, they really did pay off.
yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say to everybody? No other questions for people? No other questions for people?
Not, I'm gonna resume building a script that I was building, and then we could talk about maybe building one for here.
Okay. All right. Give me a second here. So you guys all know what you guys need to do. I am gonna go ahead and turn off the recorder right now. If you guys are feeling down about the job hunt right now, I 100% empathize with you. And it's 100% normal because like everybody's feeling a little bit down, everybody's feeling kind of like a little bit demoralized. There's no effing point. Why are you even putting up with this? Like, is it like I see so many videos of like, is this even worth it anymore? The way that I would take a look at it if I were you guys is that like this is the best time to do it because your competition is doing jack shit. Like your competition right now is at Coachella, right? Your competition right now is like just complaining, just not doing anything. Some of you are on here right now and you're not doing anything either. So just think about it right now. Like the majority of the competition is just not working that hard. So where you really come in is, okay, you need to go ahead and uh you need to go ahead and just take everybody's lunch. That's kind of the way that I look at it. There's no other way I think you can look at it. I mean they don't take American Express. Whatchamacallit, like that's the way that I look at it. So I'm putting out like a lot of content right now to try like and I think like we tried a few ways to go out there and try to get people motivated. We're not leaving anybody behind, but like the thing that you have to really ask yourself is how do you want to go ahead and feel about this? If you know that the situation right now isn't getting any better, then you got to go ahead and leave that situation behind. You really got to. This is not a joke. Like me and Dennis right now, we are working on actually doing more of like the we're actually working on doing more of like the side hustle stuff. um you already know that like any job that you're getting right now, you're just renting, right? Like AI is coming to take your lunch. Like it's been a year since like I left New York. I'm really glad I did that. Um Having said that though, like whatever it is that you got to do, Vanessa, like I 100% like empathize with you. Whatever it is that you got to find some type of narrative that's going to get you to want to feel motivated to actually do this. I don't know what it is. For
How
me,
do
I'm just very competitive. But Dennis, maybe you can touch on that.
I think I'll just compare to someone that we've had on here in the past who, you know, had all the best qualifications. They would just complain. They would target like the best companies, complain some more. And then it wasn't until they started adopting what I'm preaching until they got an offer. So, I mean, really it's a whole shift. Like, yeah, maybe you got that piece of paper, great, congratulations. It doesn't really matter right now. It's really about flipping that thing on its head. And, you know, these people need someone to get in the role and make them some money, make or buy them some time, or all the above, and show you can do that. That's it.
100%, yo. 155%. But if you bought it for your future interview, turn in a boss, like a Coachella financing their burrito, 100%.
Rich, remember I was at a Wayfair, had 400 PMs, and I was the only one without a degree. And I'm working with people from Harvard, Columbia, MIT, you name it. And I'm just like, okay, I'm making the same or more than them. Like that is how you guys just need to use that as motivation. I'm not special. I just knew how to sell myself, had that attitude, and I nailed it.
There you
400
go.
PM, no degree. And then I just like waltz in there, like, oh, hey, everyone.
That's how you gotta do it.
All those MBAs who they used to hire them as at a senior level, they all got laid off because they were shit. And I survived like four rounds of layoffs there.
Anything else you guys need to do?
They need to work on the attitude. I know it's hard, but it will come. Like one win, two wins, and you'll start multiplying it.